few stories in your back pocket, as we say, and then almost every question that's asked, you can pretty much direct the question to one of those stories you have in your head. So you can actually prepare a little bit for it. Another way to prepare for the unprepared is to stay present in the moment. Madam Table Toastmaster is going to come up here and ask questions. And if the question doesn't come to you, think about, how would I answer this question? Every time I see table topics and I see a question, my brain goes a mile a minute, and I think about 2 or 3 things that I would have said if the question were to come to me. Think about those stories that come to your brain, and maybe if the next question comes to you, you could probably take that question and fit that story you just thought about into the question. And I talk a little bit more about how to redirect the question into something you'd like to talk about. Stay present in the moment and try to redirect the question to something you want to talk about. Okay, so you can prepare. You can prepare. Another big technique that I like to encourage people to do is to be honest and be true to yourself. If the topic comes up and you know nothing about it, and you don't even like the topic, say it. Say it. I remember I come from the United States, and in Los Angeles the last couple of years in Toastmasters, everyone likes to talk about politics, because US politics is crazy town right now. So people would ask a question about the current political affairs, and it would come to me, and I would just stand up and say, I'll be honest, I don't want to really talk about US politics. I don't like US politics. It's not very interesting to me. So I'd like to talk about club politics. How about that? What about our president of this club? Isn't she doing a good job? I'd say she's a pretty good politician. Here are all the things she does for our club on a daily basis. So I just redirected the question to something that I want to talk about. If you don't know anything about the topic, just be honest. There was a question a couple of years ago that came up to me. It was about Russia's invasion of Crimea. I had no idea what was going on with that story. I had headlines somewhere. I saw, okay, Russia invades Crimea. I don't know anything about it. And so I stood up and I thought to myself, wait a minute, there's a couple girls here from the Ukraine. Maybe I'll just ask them. So I said, Mr. Table Toastmaster, I don't know much about this story. I saw it in the news. I don't know much about it. But we have 2 Russians in this room tonight. So I'd like to ask Ayula, what do you think about this story? She spoke for maybe 10 or 15 seconds. I asked the other, Avital, the other Russian, and then I played them off each other. I said, well, here you have somebody who thinks it's potentially a good idea. Here's somebody who thinks it's a terrible idea. I don't know much about it, but I'd say I'm in the middle. So you see, I use the phone a friend option. This is part of a game show in the United States. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Phone a friend. Ask somebody in the audience to help you out. There's no rules in table topics other than we want you to try and speak for a minute and a half. Involve the audience if you don't know anything about it. So just be honest. Okay, so I've talked a little bit about, first, preparation. Prepare for the unprepared. Second, be honest. Or not. Or not. Table topics can be really, really fun, and it can be a creative exercise if you treat it as a creative exercise. Be honest or not. What if you were to lie? Are there any rules about lying in table topics? Not that I know of. Mr. DTM, are there any? No, there's no rules. Have fun with it. Toastmasters Advanced Manual Storytelling. Project number 4, maybe? 3 or 4 is called The Tall Tale. A tall tale is a story that involves a lot of exaggeration. A tall tale starts off seemingly normal, and then it builds its way into craziness. Have fun with a table topic. Maybe don't tell the truth. Maybe take it in a different direction. I have a friend of mine who was a Toastmaster back in the United States. She has very red hair. I'm talking the most red hair you've ever seen. She also traveled around with a circus. She worked for a circus. She told a tall tale once about joining the circus. And she talked about the fire breathers. You know, those guys, they take some fire and and she said, unfortunately, the fire came and it hit me, and that's what turned my hair red. Clearly, she was lying, but she was just having fun with it. So just have fun with it. You can bend the truth a little bit. The goal is to entertain your audience. Have fun with it. Don't feel like you have to be perfectly poignant every single time. And I've got to say something that is groundbreaking and very dramatically perfect. Just have fun. Have fun. Tell a story. This brings me to my last point. Opposite. When you're asked a question, chances are there is a automatic response that you think about. Okay, I am asked this question and everyone thinks I'm going to answer it this certain way. Do the opposite. Do the opposite because it can be more fun. The people who typically win table topics are the ones who can get the audience laughing. Oppositeville, as we call it, opposite town, is a great way to incorporate humor. So how does that look like? What does that look like? Okay, so say someone asks you a question about exercise, and they say, exercise is good for the soul. What do you think? The standard response would be, yes, I think it is good for the soul. I think it's great. I think it helps you in healthy, blah, 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 blah. Take it the opposite way. Say, exercise is good for the soul. Well, Madam Toastmaster, I think sitting on my couch and watching Netflix is good for my soul. You know what I think is good for my soul? Milk tea, popcorn, candy, chips, and I like doing that on the comfort of my own couch. I think people who exercise are crazy. I think they're insane. Certifiably insane. So for me, I don't care about exercise too much. Another example, if somebody says, money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil. Well, yes, I think there's some truth to that. No, say, money is the most amazing thing in the world. I love money. Who doesn't love money? If you guys don't love money and you think it's evil, why don't you give me your money? How's that? Can everyone just give me your money? Table topics should not be looked at as something that is a chore or something that you look down at or you are regretting or you get really nervous about. Have fun with it. Play with it. Think about creative ways to answer the questions. Have fun. And also prepare. Think about stories coming into the meeting, and that way you can have more fun, be more comfortable, and maybe too you can win the best table topic award. Mr. Toastmaster.